but purpose, shifting out of survival into a higher drive for meaning in life. That step is a conscious step. And then all the friction points that exist to keep you from going there is the personal development journey. Everything keeping you from a higher drive for purpose and into survival mode, fear-based purpose. That is the journey.
And seeing it from that lens, I think that's where the juice is, in that find your purpose, and you with your ADHD will sort of propel yourself to a point of no return sort of thing, because now instead of saying that you're lazy, you can't clean your house, you're always procrastinating, it's because you've not found something that's juicy enough for you to hyper focus and do great things, and so that lacking of that purpose thing is, if you changed your angle and go, okay, what is, I think that has helped me a lot as well. I mean, not to say that I've got full-blown ADHD, but I notice now that my skill set is when I find purpose, oh my gosh, will I hyper focus? Yeah. And I'm on it non-stop. Like I'm like Eminem sort of thing, I'll start just going off creatively.
Yeah.
Not time passes, and like even weekends, it's like, let's do it. Let's edit this video, let's do that, let's put this in. And it becomes like a joyful thing where you have purpose. I'm teaching, I'm helping people, through these podcasts. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I also think that when you look closely at making life meaningful, you realize that it can be fun. Like you can layer lots of layers of purpose. Like it's like, for example, if I'm going to watch a Netflix show to relax, but then I hear, the opening music and it puts me in a mood, and then I want to write a song instead. So now in that hour and a half that I would have watched that Netflix show, I create a song, right? Now, but that song is me stimulating my creativity, and that I have dedicated my life. And with EP7, we're asked to dedicate our life in steps 3 and 4 of the 7 steps, which is creativity and intuition. Do things daily through your lifestyle choices that help you continue to develop yourself creatively and intuitively, right? So already I love being creative because I know it's good for me and it's going to make me even better. Secondly to that, I write about something that matters to me, something that I've never really honored and cared about how I feel about it, and then find ways to articulate it in a way that can really reach me and then eventually reach people. So there's another 2 layers of reaching me, emotionally validating myself, but then the other layer of other people feeling like they related. It's like I was in the car the other day in Sydney, and I was playing some tracks to my first cousin's son, and we're all really close, right? And keeping him confidential who he is, right?
Sure.
And he hears the song Rock Bottom, and what was the other song? Anyway, can't remember. But he Rent Free in Your Head. And he goes, I really like those because the lyrics were about where I'm at, and it mattered a lot to him. And he it's like he wanted to keep listening to them because of that, And I'm thinking to myself, I got to enjoy giving him something where he was going, oh, like he was having reactions to the lyrics. These are moments for me that are meaningful because it means I created something that mattered to me, but then it was a vehicle to help someone. I matter to them in what I've given them, but also they get to go on a journey of them mattering to themselves based on what they were experiencing in the song. Now, I say all this because it's multi-purposed, all right? See how many layers are in that?
Yeah.
Creativity, intuition
Meaning.
too, me validating myself, my journey, enjoying, understanding myself deeper, creating something I'm proud of that is entertaining, suddenly entertaining someone else, but also taking them on a meaningful journey. Then all of that capability translates into the supernova OS that eventually will generate your own music based on the work you're doing on yourself, to keep growing. Like layers and layers of, I call that multi-purpose tasking.
The 2 things that you mentioned that was so important about your cousin, your niece or nephew,
Yeah.
or your cousin, your first cousin, was the value that they
Actually,
gave
I'm
to
his
them.
godfather.
Oh, godfather.
Yeah.
The value that it created for them. I tell you why that's important.
Yeah.
My humor on my Instagram.
Yeah.
What's missing is that piece.
Yeah.
It brings me a lot of joy to do it, but I feel it's useless for the viewer. So
why do you think that?
Because the things that I do on that thing it's just the most random thing. And for me, it gives me joy because when I'm in a good state, all these ideas come and I get Instagram's like an outlet for me to go crazy.
Yeah.
It's like an outlet for me to experience that child. But then I do not post as much because I don't feel it has any value, any meaning to the listener. So, which is bizarre, but that's what's missing. I just realized in the cycle. It is that value to the other person. I've downplayed it so badly to the point where I go, this is not going to help an Asian person. This is not going to help a doctor. This is not going to help. But that's the thing that I have to figure out now. How does this help? And it's always just, like you say, a context shift, of why does this, I have never really thought about it. I just smashed it based on what teachers used to say to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Wazan, this is useless. This is not going to help you at all. And so now you just made me realize I'm posting one video, a clip a week for this, a day for this, because I see value in helping people. Whereas in my YouTube, I've just went 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, 1 week off, 2 weeks off. It has no pull. So you got me realize that's the important thing about what you just said is the value to the person, the multi-layer thing.
Okay, so I want to talk about balance and I want to talk about diversity for experience, right? Like we value having different things in our life, something serious, something not so serious, something comforting, something adventurous. Like we just love balance, right? And so what I did say to you a few weeks ago is like, come on, man, bring in the segment of Biohack of the Week and put a skit that you created that could be related to a theme we're talking about or not, but at least there's some comic relief. And the reason why I say that is this. Often you and I we're talking about stuff that's serious, meaningful. It's about getting your heart satisfied. It's about getting out of situations where your well-being is being impacted. Kind of can start to sound a little bit too serious.
Too heavy.
Right? And it's not heavy for the person that needs to hear it because it's like, they're getting uplifted. They've been given a light to be different, to break through. So I get that. But at the same time, you and I need to enjoy the journey and they need to have we should be a bit more multidimensional and we should add the color of your skits and the biohack examples. We're cracking jokes between us, but we really should be adding that. It's so important. Yeah. And even if it makes them laugh.
Let me try that for this episode. Let me figure out a skit for this episode and I'll just try to get into the rhythm of it because I still have a lot of childhood trauma that I need to figure out.
I have a strange feeling you'll do something about childhood trauma. Turn it on its head.
That's a good one. But slowly. I need to get into the habit of seeing value in that piece. And that's the way I struggle because of just teachers telling me it's useless. So I'm constantly. But now it doesn't have to be that way anymore. I'm going to change. I'm going to figure out another way. And it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a journey for sure. It's like gym. When you first go in for the first 6 months, you're like, ugh. And then you tailor it, find ways to make it easier. Do I have to really do heavy weights? No, I don't. I just have to do power. You figure out your way. So now I'm on that journey now with this comic stuff. We'll get there. So that was actually a very good observation that you made and that taught me something about myself.
Yeah.
So, that's what your music did, essentially.
What? It did what?
Your music, the way that's the value, the story of just telling your music and how it impacted your godson has helped me realize what's missing in my puzzle. Yeah. So just writing those two songs helped me realize that. And it's a big piece that I found missing. So
had I written? No, I didn't. I didn't share this song with you, right? I was on the plane, okay? And something happened and it triggered me to write a song.
Right.
And it ended up being called Entity Politics. So instead of identity politics, I trumped our identity and took it to a higher vibration of entity politics. You see, entity is your dynamic you that can take on any identity. And the ideas that shape the identity, see, there's entity and ideas in the word, is because you are the entity that enters whatever ideas into a form called an identity, right? So I wanted to write a song to celebrate that awareness and to take someone through a journey that's a bit more meaningful than the bullshit politics we're living with every day, identity politics, where you have to belong to some tribal identity that carries on like a pork chop, and is extreme on one side and demonizes the other, and vice versa. Demonizes one side. I should articulate sometimes instead of just cutting corners on my words. Yeah. And so I wrote this song, and then I decided to create a really cool acid jazz, Afrobeat, R&B, like super cool. Something similar to Incognito, Brand New Heavies, Young Disciples, the kind
reggae.
of not reggae. The kind of stuff you hear in the Buddha bar compilations.
Oh, yeah.
That's that kind of music where it's in really cool cafes.
Yes.
And it just makes you go, oh, I like this track.
Yeah.
And it's just track after track, and it's all super cool. So I reckon we should play this as the out of our podcast today.
Yeah, sure.
Entity politics. It is so cool. Like, I'm looking forward to sharing it with you.
Let's do it now.
And so for me, it's a treat for me when I share with you, because I see the way you decide to just be centered and go on a journey with the song. And then you actually do listen to the lyrics, and you see, and then you give me good feedback around the phrasing, for example. Don't give me too much words, right? But what I've done here is this particular one, it has contrast. It takes you on a little bit of words, and then it backs off into really cool, jammy, emotional, phrasing. And then it gives you a bit more lyrics, and then it expands again and slows down. So it contracts and expands because I'm literally dealing with an existential topic about who we are, but in a way that just makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Have I built enough intrigue about the song?
Yes, I have.
All right.
Yes, you have. And I'm curious now.
All right. So
let's do this now.
All right.
Ooh, loving the vibe.
Told ya.
Bossa Nova, sort of.
Energy and a state to be, eternal becoming, dynamic and free, entity flowing into ideas for the being, shaping identity into forms, experimenting. Who am I? Am I who decides who I am? Ever changing, existential rearranging. Going in deep, am I there to be found? Or am I a portal into all to be found? The known, being in the mystery, forever unraveling. All that I am is beyond the view. All that I am, a creator views. All that I am birthed from the power of love. All that I am and have is enough. That's entity politics. Intensity politics. That's entity politics. Breathe in the take, breathe out the give. Pulsing to expand, pulsing to live. Scenes and scripts, plots and twists. Where you go, free will predict. Who am I? Am I who decides who I am? Ever changing, existential rearranging. Going in deep, am I there to be found? Or am I a portal into all to be found? The known, being in the mystery, forever unraveling. All that I am is beyond the view. All that I am, a creator views. All that I am, birthed it from the power of love. All that I am and have is enough. That's entity politics, entity politics. That's entity politics, entity politics. So why is it so hard to know this truth? Feel it deeply, allow it to rule. Can you embody without ignorance? Can you have unity without the severance? Are we diving into all ways of being to expand into the all-knowing? I look at us and I see the shared beauty through our choices of what do we see, what do we be, interacting here with optional beliefs. Who are we? Are we who decides who we are? Ever changing, existential rearranging. Going in deep, are we there to be found? Or are we portals into all to be found? Unknown, being in the mystery, forever unraveling. All that we are is beyond the view. All that we are, creator of views. All that we are, on the power of love. And all that we are in have is enough. That is up to who? That's entity politics. Entity politics. It's entity politics. Entity ethics. The party of truth. Truth.
I love this. This is such a good song. It's like it's explaining where it just summarizes, basically sensor. It basically summarizes what we've just talked about. I love how you swapped that around as well. Like, you know, you had that male voice. How did you do it? Like, there was one part where it just says, like, did you just put out?
Yes, I
really?
did. I did like 7 A's and a few H's.
It's brilliant.
And because at that point I was philosophically saying, could we have unity without severance? In other words, without being disconnected and separated. Like, could we have wisdom without ignorance? In other words, man, we're just being human, learning how to be all these things to make us all knowing. You can't know everything without living the contrast of being stuck, of being confused, being fearful. You can't know love without hate even. So here I am, like in a song, you know, creating a philosophical, you know, big kind of, can you really accept all the human journey? And I went, now I don't want to say anything. I just want to slow it down and just, you know.
See what you did there.
You know, I just wanted to pause. And then when I was running, like sometimes AI gives me what I'm feeling and imagining in my mind, and it nailed it on that point.
Yeah.
On that. I did have several other versions that didn't, but that one did nail that part. But I also like this version for its completeness, vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Coolness. You know?
I love the vibe. I love the words as well. It's who are you? You know, like you're full of love and you're just trying to, like you said, navigate.
Yeah.
You navigate through the different sort of contrasts and trying to figure out where you are at the end.
And when lyrics come out of me that quick, I always know they're going to be better lyrics, you know? And so like when he chimes in again near the end and he says, we're just playing with optional beliefs. Like that phrase for me popped. It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Beliefs are optional.
Assumptions are optional.
Optional beliefs. How freeing is that? It's like, do I like my beliefs? Or am I going to glue in as if they're me? Or am I going to treat them like they're optional, which means I can change any of them that don't suit the sustainable value exchange? They don't resonate deeply with me for who I want to be. You know, like it's like the self-hate issue. It's like, what a dumb idea. In entity politics, you enter an idea that you should hate yourself. But you are not that. You're just experiencing life with the idea.
Right.
Of thinking you don't belong in existence. They're just tolerating you existing.
Yeah.
And therefore, what a shame you didn't measure up. You don't really belong in the beauty of existence.
Yeah.
And that you're probably going to get quashed at some point. And what a shame. And see, you're just not good enough. You should hate yourself. You tried to be good enough. You tried to, hey, look at me, universe. I could be what? And then you just didn't jump through enough hoops or high enough hoops, and therefore you get to hate yourself.
You don't matter. Coming to that conclusion.
As an entity, you can pull out of that nonsense. But if you don't have entity politics, then you are subjected to the politics of people telling you who you are.
Yeah.
What are you? Red, blue, Labor, Liberal, Democrat, Republican? Like everyone's trying to put you into a tribe. And then in our customs, in our culture, we're raised, here you are, here are the ideas that interconnect of who you are. You got to be afraid of shoes upside down because God is up and hell is down. Like everything is just so simplified, oversimplified, so that we can navigate pseudo meaning, like meaning that's meant to be meaningful, but really when you scratch the surface, it falls apart. That's why I love this song so much, because it says, no, we're going to pull out of that nonsense and we're going to find existence with you as an entity that can be anything.
Right.
And beliefs are optional. But love the beliefs that honor the connection, create the sustainable value exchange, make you proud of who you're choosing to be in life, in existing with those around you. And so now it's love-based, it's not fear-based anymore. You've transcended the biology, the primal, and you've embraced your spiritual side, you know? And I think if you look at religions, you realize that they all offered threads of trying to get there, but we as humans just corrupted those threads and made it more power hungry bait, you know, like religion lost its way for me personally, though, which is why I had to tap out of religion. I gave a few a good crack and I just had to tap out. But at the same time, I didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater there either. I wanted to look closely at them and go, what made them so powerful? What made them withstand hundreds of years of existence, thousands of years? And I saw the beauty in them. And I go, well, all right, but that beauty is not in, they don't have a real estate on the domain of that beauty. That is just truth that transcends all religions, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened to me with my own journey.
I'm just got so many things that I'm thinking about now, about that whole, the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the false assumptions and the optional beliefs, you know, like even the fact that what we just spoke about before about, you know, me thinking that it's not of value to anyone, you know, my humor.
Yeah, that's an optional belief for sure.
Oh, that was definitely optional belief.
You know what? I kept forgetting to say this, but I was meaning to say this.
Yeah.
Please don't underestimate laughter.
Yeah.
Do you know how much bullshit we're all putting up with every day? The pressure valve is real.
Yes.
And laughter is that moment where the spirit gets to say, I can have a holiday from that bullshit. And you are depriving people with your humor. You're keeping your skits away from people, thinking that there is no legitimate value to just cracking them up.
Yeah. It can be, it's funny. This is not enough. This is too simple. Although it makes people laugh. Like if you think about all the funny stuff on TikTok or anywhere, like they're the most simplest stuff that make you laugh. But for me, I'm like, oh, you got to put on more effort. And the funny trick about doing that is when you put more effort, it becomes less genuine. Or as opposed to the simplicity.
So when I said to you, the lyrics that come out the quickest are the obviously easiest, but they're the most meaningful.
Yeah,
because I didn't overthink them.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's why that song sort of. I was thinking about what you said, and the value of laughter. I do it too. Like, you know, at the end of my day, I look for the simplest, most ridiculous Instagram ones that are the most ridiculous things, you know, and I laugh and I'm like, oh, that's so funny. I love the internet, and I could be that person in that thing, giving myself the laughter. I didn't see it that way. I didn't see the value of it. But now I can see. Yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll just I'll probably need some time to rearrange my beliefs, because it's not like a one-day thing, you know, where you get years of, you know, believing that that's useless, and now you have suddenly can change and suddenly start spitting out skits every day. But we'll figure it out. At least I've got that framework to work with now, that contextual shift. Yeah, so that was useful. I have a hard stop at 11:30, so I think.
Well, I think we've landed the plane really well right now. Thank you for joining us. We didn't know what we were going to talk about, but we managed to talk about a lot.
It's in our nature, guys, just to ramble. But I hope you guys enjoyed the segment, and we'll see you guys next week. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.